Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. A long podcast that has suddenly become very popular among heads of state. And what did Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, say in his podcast with Lex Fridman? We're going to discuss that. We're going to analyze that. Takeaways. Where is the future of Bharat looking? What is the vision of Prime Minister Modi? And many other things. Our guest for today, Sumit Peer, has spent a lot of time analyzing it. We are going to present with you a few points that stood out. And let's now welcome Sumit Peer. Sumit ji, namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel. How are you?
Jai Siyaram, Radhe Radhe, all good and fine, sir. By the kripa of Lord Mahakal and your Ashirwad. Thank you very much for the invite. Always be a pleasure to share my insights and have a very, very good discussion with you. So again, it's a different format today, and I think the topic is interesting. And the most difficult part of today's topic is how to put everything in 30-35 minutes. It was for 3 hours 25 minutes. So you are squeezing it by 1/10. But still, we'll try our best and we'll try to highlight those points which I really liked and which I think they're quite appealing. And we'll try to put it in a perspective so that our viewers get a good kind of a hang of it. Hindi में कहते हैं गागर में सागर भरना. Sorry, Gagar mein Sagar bharna. To put a river in an earthen pot. That is what we're going to do today.
Thank you so much, Sumit. And viewers, I don't know how many of you followed the one really long interview of President, then not President, but a candidate, Donald Trump with Joe Rogan. It was 3 hours and 20 minutes. What stood out there was two things. One is that President Trump, despite his age, never, took a bio break. In fact, Joe Rogan says that he came straight from the plane to the podcast, didn't do anything, sat down, finished his interview in one shot, one sitting, no breaks, no nothing, then stood up and got on the plane and went to another city to address the rallies. What people were astounded was this 3 hours, 20 minutes, Trump built on various topics, including who's the best boxer. I mean, see, what people got to see was that this is a totally different person from what he's made up in the media. That 3 hours, 20 minutes gives you enough time to know something deeper about a person's character. And then it turned out when he won that it was his son Barron's idea that Trump should go on this long podcast. So that is the reason why suddenly all these long podcasts are becoming very popular. The 3 hour 20 was the first one, and now you're seeing people go 3 hour 21, 22, 25, and so on and so forth. Nothing really important about it, but this is the backdrop of long podcasts. Now, Sumiji, I yield the floor to you. Talk to us about 5 or 6 things that stood out.
Sure. So in the name of Bhagwan Sri Ganesha, let's do the Sri Ganesha of today's vlog. There are a couple of things which were, at least 9 or 10 talking points I have, which I think are very important and which I think our viewers should understand and know. The first talk point is that when you talk to Prime Minister Modi about his childhood, what was his childhood like? And I'm going to use a bit of Hindi in it so that I can really put I don't want to miss the words, miss their flavor in the proper way they should. The thing is, he said कि I was brought up in a poor, मैं गरीबी में पैदा हुआ था, बड़ा हुआ था, but हम गरीब नहीं थे. And he was now here. Alex is surprised. He says the people who have got used to wearing shoes know the quality of the shoe, know how the shoe is, know how elegant it or how bad it is. But a person like me who had never worn a shoe, never bothered what the shoe was. He says, I never bothered. I mean, second thing he talks about is my mother, besides working very hard, she used to do some, help a lot of kids in some naturopathy medicines. And there were a lot of mothers which were coming with their kids in the morning. And I used to help my mother when she was giving them some, some naturopathy treatments and all. I used to help my mother in that. So we were kind of known for that. And that is how my day began. Then my father used to go to the shop. He had a shop. And he was so punctual on the time, and he has those shoes. When he used to walk down the alley, wo jute awaaz karte, cut, 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 cut. So people will match their clock with the shoes. So when they hear at 4:30 a.m. somebody is walking down your alley, okay, it is Damodar Modi, his father, Mr. late Shri Damodar Modi, who is walking to the shop. So that was the punctuality. So that yam and niyam, what Sanatan teaches us, yam and niyam. That were something which were kind of imbibed in me. Even in our so-called Garibi and all, we were okay. We didn't bother. It was not baffling us. It was not killing us. It was not something which was saying, okay, what to do, how to do next, and okay. And there's one interesting asset he talks about. He said once, I got those white canvas shoes, canvas shoes to go to the school. Now it was a privilege for me. I used to go in a chappal. Now suddenly I got those canvas shoes, and they were white shoes. So usually they will get dirty. So he said, what I would do is that when the school was over, I'll stay back for some time. Then I'll go to every class and pick up a small chalk. That what you write, whiteboard chalk. I'll put up a small chalk, get them to my home, crush them, boil them in water, and make a paste and put on my shoes. So that is how the shoes will turn white again. So this was a way of getting a polish out of the waste chalks of the school and getting my shoes white again, because they were the privileged position in my life. So I really thought this is my privileged position. And then he said, how did you iron? I said, we didn't have iron at home. We'll put hot water in a bucket and put my clothes and run that over that hot water with, there's a what we call a stand, which what we call is a kind of a tongue which holds the hot waters. So I'll run over my let's say trouser or my shirt and all. We'll run over them. So this is how we used to iron, and this way of life was okay with me. I was not baffled. I was not perplexed. What I'm doing, this is okay. We were okay with it. So we were poor, but the Garibi never got into my head. That didn't put me down. That didn't bring me down, and that was not the thing which he could stop me. Second interesting aspect, he found that I joined RSS at the age 8. He joined RSS. He said at that point of time, I didn't know what RSS was. I didn't know even what they do. Basically, there were people who used to come from RSS. And these people who used to come to my village, to my district, they used to be talking about Dharm, Rashtra, and talking about singing the patriotic songs. There was so much mesmerized by those patriotic songs. The person who used to come to my village, I would just follow them wherever he goes. And that song of patriotism was something which was appealing to me. My heart could connect with it at the age of 8. And when I listened to the song, it was really that there was some kind of a frequency match. And I would just follow that person madly. So because RSS was talking of Desh, they were talking of Dharma, they were talking of patriotism. I joined them without understanding at 8 what the organization is, how exactly do they work. But eventually, now if you talk of RSS today, 100 years in existence. Now he talked about 3 things about RSS. First of all, 100 years in existence, biggest volunteer, Swayam Sevak organization in the world. Now RSS had various flavors inside. Now Swayam Sevaks make the RSS. Now one Swayam Sevak group got together and make Vidya Bharati. Now Vidya Bharati runs around 70 to 80,000 schools in various parts of the India. Now some Swayam Sevaks got together and made Vanmasi Kalyan Ashram. Now these Vanmasi Kalyan Ashram friends, and I know some of them personally, they work in the tribal belts. And they have these Eklavya Vidyalayas, where very small Vidyalayas where 1 or 2 teachers. Then they teach these tribal kids, they enable them, they skill them, and they are running on their own. Then you have something called Seva Bharati. Wherever there's a problem, wherever there's a disaster, wherever they will kind of run them. Today they are running centers, which is more than 1,25,000 across whole country. And these people are funding these centers and these self-help groups on their own money. They are not taking money from any government, not from any corporate, not from any individuals, no donations. They are funding all the initiative on their own. And even RSS doesn't take money from corporates, doesn't take money from any of government or all. The Swayam Sevaks themselves fund RSS, because in the Guru Purnima, whenever there's this Dwaj Samaroh, every Swayam Sevak will go and give a small offering to the Dwaj. That is the money which is collected, and this money keeps the organization running. So I was really mesmerized by the way they were running and the concepts they were bringing in. And that is how I got into the RSS, and about RSS is done over, 100 years now, 100 years in existence. Then the third part was very interesting, was about Himalayas. So he decided to go to Himalayas. He didn't talk much about it. He spent around 2 years there, where he was alone, where he wandered, where he learned to get samanvay, that is to have an equilibrium, or to have a kind of a rhythmic equilibrium with the nature, where you could understand nature and nature could understand you. For example, if there's a falling drop of water and when it hits a saucer, it makes a noise, it makes a sound. So if you concentrate on that sound, this will increase your capability to kind of think deep, to concentrate. He says that is how I developed my capability to kind of have this concentration which is very high level. So, and again, he met some very interesting personalities there, which he doesn't reveal much. But again, they have shown him the way. And it is also known that when he was in the Himalayas, he met somebody. There's not a lot known about the man. He told him, look, you are not here to be a sannyasi. You're not born to be a sannyasi. You are born to do the seva. Your sannyasa is when you leave the how do you call the world and become a saint or become a sadhu. Your job is not to leave the world, but you have to go back to the world. You have to go back to the Bharat and do the seva of Bharat. Your sannyas is in doing seva of Bharat, not moving away from Bharat and doing, becoming a sannyasi. Now, one interesting aspect he talked about while we were talking about RSS is that, RSS has this labor organization. Now, the world over, labor organizations come together and say, laborers get together and change the world, right? So what does the RSS Mazdoor Sangh say? RSS Mazdoor Sangh says, Mazdoors get together. Mazdoors get together to unite the world. So one is talking of getting together and change the world order. What the RSS organization is talking about, all the laborers or all the Mazdoors should get together to unite the world, not to change the world, not to disrupt the world. So there was a fundamental difference in the way RSS approached things and in the way the world was approaching things. That is what it has survived the time. Another thing is he has been very much influenced by Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, and he also mentioned about a Swamiji, which has been his mentor and his guru, and his Lord helped him in his spiritual path, in his inner journey. And he said that I wished he could come to live with me for some day when I became the Prime Minister, but unfortunately due to his commitments he could not. But when I was the Gujarat Chief Minister, he did visit me there, and he has been guiding me a lot when I'm stuck in this Dharma Sankat. He's been guiding me a lot. This is what you should do, and the direction is always go and do whatever you can do for Mother India, whatever you can do for your mother nation. That is what your karma is. Your karma is a selfless service to the nation. That is what I have been doing. After this, and how Hindu spirituality, how Hindu way of life, and how Hindutva, which is a way of life, can be the hope of the world, and how world can get inspiration from our learning, our beliefs, and how they are universal and how they are global in nature. And for example, we talk about fasting, right? Yes, correct. It's contributed by their own or money. They don't take money from anybody. Let's say they talk about fasting. Now the host says, Lex says, look, I have been fasting for 2 days. And Modiji says, so you've been fasting for 2 days. He says, because when you fast, your senses become more sharper. And there are days, starting from June, I think around May, June, Modiji goes on one meal till up to October, because that is how the sun cycles change. And when it's monsoons and all, your body doesn't need so much of food. So he goes for one meal. He prepares his body for the fasting. And when he's fasting, for let's say for Navratra and all, only on 9 days, is simply on water, and he will choose one fruit. Let's say he chose papaya. So all 9 days he will have one meal, let's say a cup of papaya every day. And if he's going meeting the world leaders, he's going anywhere, it doesn't matter wherever he is, he'll stick to his schedule. And he said that it was once I was in US, and it was Barack Obama was there as a president, and you had come to the White House, and they said, what about the dinner? Dinner is being served. Then suddenly they realized I'm fasting. So he said, how can we be your host if you're not fasting? He said, but this is what I am. So finally they got him a hot glass of water, and water was kept in front of Modiji, and he looked at Obama and said, look, my dinner has arrived. This is my dinner. My dinner has arrived. It doesn't matter. You don't have to get 500 things for me and all. My dinner has arrived. This is my dinner. I'm happy with this. You gave me my dinner. Thank you very much for that. And he said, I went again, sometime after a few months or a few years, I again went to White House, and this time I was not fasting. So Obama was hosting the lunch. He said, now this time you have to eat double, because last time you didn't eat anything. So this lunch has to be double. So there was a humorous part of it also, how it kind of, there's a bit of humor in it. Then there were questions like, when you, from, this is the spiritual, this is the personal part. And he said, very interesting, he said, wherever I lived, whatever I did, people would not know me. People would not know that, because when I became the chief minister and I became the prime minister, so media went there, media started picturizing these, media went to my school, went to my village, went to my father's shop, went there pretty much everywhere, because then it was something which was very interesting for them to cover. Before that, I was just Modi. And all these aspects of my life would have never come to the public forum if media would have never taken an interest and brought them up. And if media has brought them up, and you have done your good research, you have done your good work, and you're bringing them up to me. You're bringing them up to me. But Lex said, look, I'm not very good at taking interviews. I don't agree with you, because the kind of work you have done and the kind of questions you're asking me, I don't believe that you are bad at taking interviews. So that was the personal part of it. Then eventually it moved to a part wherein they said, what do you think about Modiji, about this, great football players? So I said, Pele, Maradona and all. And he said, look, I think it was, Maradona in 80s, he was a kind of a sensation. And with time, now today, if you talk about the today's generation, they will more relate to Messi today. He said, with time, the things change. So that was the thing what you were talking about, wherein he was trying to understand what does he know about the, soccer world, where soccer is not very common in India. So asking him about those questions about the players and who is your favorite and how did it go. Then there was even a question in the same arena was about the India-Pakistan. India-Pakistan are ace rivals. And I have seen a series of big rivalry between India-Pakistan teams and all. And which team do you rate is better? Which team do you think is good? He said, look, teams, technically, I'm not a technical expert to tell which team is better. But if I look at the results and recently the series that has happened, from the just mere results which have come in, I believe India has done a fantastic job. So technically, I will not be able to comment who is good or bad, but it has done a good job. Sports is something which energizes youth, which energizes nations. But at the end of the day, sports is sports. And we should not kind of make sports as something which is, in a way, he was hinting that just keep sports as sports. It doesn't, make or break a lot of things as long as that part of it is gone. So, it's a game at the end of the day. There was a silent mention over there. Then let's talk about, so these are some of the personal aspects. Now let's talk about some of the important geopolitical things which came up. One of the things which was bound to come up was Godhra. So Lex asks, now he said, look, Gujarat riot was a very important turning event, and you are the Gujarat CM, and I know Supreme Court and the courts have acquitted you twice. They have done all your due diligence, and they said your involvement was not there. But how do you see that, and how did that change you, and what was the political impact on your career and all that? Now here I have to compliment Prime Minister Modi, and because this is something which should have been a long back, and obviously it's Prime Minister Modi who has the courage to bring things to the forefront. And I've been very vocal on it for years now, exactly on the same line. Before answering Gujarat, he takes him back. He said, last 15 months or 3 years, what were the incidents? 9/11 happened, then there was an attack on the Indian Parliament, there was an attack on J&K Assembly, we had a Kandahar hijack. There were a lot of events in the world which were really done by एक तरह के लोगों ने किया है. एक तरह के लोगों ने ये सब किया. That's the exact word. So I have to use Hindi here. एक तरह के लोगों ने किया. That was the backdrop which was happening. There was anger. There was people were fuming. Now, एक तरह के लोग, I don't have to mention which were that तरह के लोग. Everybody who understands Hindi knows what does he mean by एक तरह के लोग. And there's also one interesting connotation. If I miss me that, you have to kindly remember me about Gulami. इसे एक तरह के लोगों ने किया, तो एक गुस्सा था, देश में गुस्सा था. Now, when Godhra happens, before Gujarat happens, I was not an MLA. I have never fought an election. I was given the responsibility to become the Chief Minister of Gujarat. I had never contested anything. But there was an earthquake in Saurashtra. My job was to rebuild and get Gujarat out of that as soon as possible. And Gujarat had its own set of challenges. So I was given the responsibility. Now, just when the riots happened, 3 days before that, I became the MLA. Even 3 days back, I was not even an MLA. I've been nominated, but there's a process of when you become an MLA and all. And before that, I had my budget satar, the budget session of the parliament, which was happening. And he says suddenly something very bad happened. Few hundred people were burned alive. Now, what I like here is Modiji is very clearly linking Godhra and Gujarat. I've been very vocal, I've been very direct, and I've been explicit about it. If there was no Godhra, there was no Gujarat. Whatever happened is regrettable. We don't support any kind of violence. It should have not happened. But you cannot forget Godhra and talk about Gujarat, because the media of the country at that point of time, and those people who used to dye their hair white in the youth to have that grey look, and some even maintain that whitish hair just to have that intellectual look. Now, these people conveniently pushed out Godhra and started talking about Gujarat and Bilkis Banu and Gulbarga and all that. So Modiji brought him back to Godhra. He said that so many people were burned alive. And you know what Mr. Amit Shah said, that once I entered that train, there was a lady and she had a daughter in her lap. She was like this, and both had burned alive. They were reduced to kind of I don't know how to describe it. And he said, then we took them out and I did the Kriyakaram for them. There was possibly nobody left. So after going through these scenes, there was already anger, there was already akrosh in the nation, and something sparked, which should have not happened in an ideal way, and nobody expected that to happen. But there was a very subtle trigger to it, and people's emotions went wild, and then what happened in Gujarat happened. Now, 2 or 3 things which are very important to mention here. Gujarat had history of riots. Here, this riot happened because of Godhra. Before that, Gujarat had history of riots. I think in 1969 or 79, there was a riot which lasted for 6 months. 6 months. And every now and then in Gujarat, there was a curfew. There was, this part is closed, that part is closed. A Hindu and a Muslim rickshawala will have a takkar and there'll be a problem. So it used to happen there. And there were parts in Gujarat which were dominated by a community, and they had all the weapons. Nobody could even enter those parts. We all know those stories. They have happened. 250 riots happened before Modi became the Chief Minister of Gujarat. No mention of that. Every time there was a riot, no mention of that. And there was a riot which lasted for 6 months. In 69, I think, or 79, no mention of that. So after 2022, after 2002 to 2025, 2 decades have passed by. 2 dashak nikal gaye. There's not even one riot in Gujarat. That is the achievement of Modi. And Modi ji, you took him to the Sessions Court, District Court, High Court, Supreme Court, SIT. Everything was found. And after 2 decades of pushing him and pulling him and dragging him and pushing him through the sand, you could not find anything against him. And there have been some people who have even lost their job, who were pushed to kind of get Modi somehow behind the bars and finish this man, whatever it takes, but they could not succeed. And who was in the power? All this time, Congress was in the power. Admits that they could not prove anything because the judiciary was very transparent, the judiciary was very clean, and judiciary did their job and found that this man did what he was supposed to do. So after that, if you want to associate Modi, Gujarat, and Hindu-Muslim, that is not fairly true. You have to look at what was happening in the backdrop. Who were the people who were doing it? Kis tarah ke log kar rahe the? Then Godhra happened. After Godhra, there was a unfortunate incident of Godhra. Then people's emotions went crazy, and Gujarat happened. And Gujarat happened is not in isolation. It's not under Modi. 250 riots. Every now and then there was a riot, and the biggest riot lasted for 6 months. And here, after 2022, right after 2002, up to now 23 years, not a single riot has happened. So now, how do you see this? Don't see it from the perspective of what some sold out reporters and some sold out dalals wanted to project it. You have to see it in the holistic picture. I strongly believe if Godhra would have not happened, Gujarat would have not happened. So Godhra was a precursor to Gujarat. If you talk of Gujarat, you cannot take away Godhra at your convenience. That was a very, very good step what Modi ji kind of bought it, and I was very, very happy about it, because at the end of the day, you cannot burn Hindus alive and expect nothing to happen. Unfortunately, there will be some reaction, but violence is not supported in any whatsoever. But people's emotions do go wild and things do happen. That's the world we live in. It's a very volatile world. So that's about the Gujarat. It's a very important thing to mention about that. It has been a talk of the town today. Then after that, we move to another aspect. He said about the media and the opposition. There was one interesting point. And Gulami, I have to bring in here. I must not forget that. Then I'll move to geopolitical topics. He said about what was my point? Media. He said, look, media is there. Media should be doing a productive work. Media and opposition should be in criticism. But unfortunately, both of them are not criticizing. Because for criticizing, आपको मेहनत करनी पड़ती. You have to get into things, you have to get into detail, you have to analyze, go into that last data and bring up things. He says, criticism is very, very good for the better and apt policy making. That criticism is not coming. What is coming is arop. You're casting aspersions, you're just putting allegations. So there's a difference between criticism and there's a difference between allegations. You can do a criticism which is based factual, realistic, and logical, and thrash the government, challenge all my policy. And I love my critics the best because they are my checks and balances. Today, neither the media nor the opposition is doing this work. What they are only doing is the allegations. Oh, you did this, you did. Again, these allegations are, they're those empty cartridges who don't gather any mass. They are those blanks. And about the media, he said, some of the media people want to play with the words and get those good jazzy headlines. Okay, that part of it is okay. That part of it is you want to get you more TRP, you want to get more. I have no problem with that. I will live with that. But at least be factual. At least be correct. But if this getting those TRP and getting those headlines comes with the agenda to hurt the country, to bring down the country and to destroy the country, that is not acceptable. So there were the two things about media and the opposition. First, you are not criticizing. Secondly, jacking up or adding mirch masala to headlines is good if it's only for TRP, but not to run agendas to bring down the government, to tarnish the image of country, and to hide the facts. If you are doing with that, that is very, very wrong and not acceptable. There's another thing which I liked about the speech was very, very clear mention about gulami. Modiji mentions gulami ki baat kare, अंग्रेजों की बात करें, मुगलों की बात करें. गुलामी की बात करें, अंग्रेजों की बात करें, मुगलों की बात करें. यहां तो I salute Prime Minister Modi. Because, it's very, very clear. If Britishers came to enslave us, siphoned our money, siphoned our things, siphoned our everything we know about, or discussed about that, Mughals were no different. So Modiji in the same breath takes name of Mughals and Angrez in the same breath. So, the kind of history we are taught, Akbar the Great, Babur the Great, Humayun the Great, cut the crap. That's what you say in English. Cut the crap, cut the chase. Both were here coming to loot and plunder, and we have lived under this Kalkhand of Gulami. Both were murderers. Both looted and plundered us. You see, the biggest Johar in Chittor happened because of Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. And who directed him to Chittor? The person who has the biggest deg in today. This was Mayuddin Chishti. And, let's not get into that part of the history, but there will be some other episode for that. So, with all these things happening, the three biggest Johars in Chittorgarh, last was wherein 12,000 Rajput women, our sisters and our daughters, did a Johar. 12,000. The flame was so tall, sir, it could be seen from 8 kilometers. And where Akbar ended there, he could not find the so-called beautiful Rajput woman and his men. They slaughtered 40,000 Rajputs, 40,000 Rajput men that day, Hindus, just because they could not find anything. So, and even some people have asked me, and I have no hesitation in saying that, why was Johar done? They could have just killed themselves, they could have had poison. Because they even felt their bodies, their dead bodies will be humiliated. These people will be into necrophilia, because these people were into necrophilia. Just to prevent even the honor of their dead bodies, they will burn themselves to ashes. So a lot of people don't know why Johars were done. Johars were done to avoid necrophilia. So this is the reason why Johars were done. Otherwise, you could have just killed yourself. So, and this is what Akbar did. This is documented history. And that Akbar is portrayed in our books, Akbar the Great and Mughals and all. So I'm very happy Modiji equated Mughals and Angrez and Goras in the same breath. Same to same. That's a very good point. Now after that, let's move to some three points we'll talk more, because I have looking at the watch. I know putting 3 hours, 17 minutes and 40 minutes is not easy. The 3 points I want to talk about. What is Pak? First, let's talk about Pakistan. Modiji said another brilliant point today. He said, look, मुसलमानों को उनका मुल्क मिल गया. मुसलमानों को उनका मुल्क मिल गया. Muslims wanted Pakistan. And with a stone on our heart, we gave them Pakistan. मुसलमानों को उनका मुल्क मिल गया. You wanted your hissa, we gave you hissa. We also gave you some money. But when Hindus were coming from Pakistan, यहाँ ट्रेनों की ट्रेनें आ गई जिनमें लाशी भरी थी. There were trains and they were filled with dead bodies of chopped Hindus, cut Hindus, bleeding Hindus. You open the box, there was a train full of dead bodies. No train from here went with chopped Muslims. But the trains which were coming from there were full of Hindu dead bodies. That is the first thing he mentions here. It should have not happened, but it happened. Okay, we were full of dead bodies here. And after that, even when you got your hissa, you were not happy. You are always wanting to take a revenge, take your things, and you always bred your generations on hatred against Hindus, against Bharat, and against that. And when you already got your hissa, so-called, what is this all about? You want to make a point, sir, and I'll continue with Pakistan. Ji.
Yes, indeed. I think what had happened was the first train from Pakistan that came with full of bodies really shocked India. And I think in next couple of days, there was one train that went back to Pakistan full of bodies. That's when it stopped. Otherwise, it was going to continue. I think 2 or 3 trains came like that. Then one train from here went with the same thing. Then they said, okay, this is a problem. And also there is a story that has come out in Dharma Dispatch. People should take a look at that one about how close Delhi came to be occupied by Muslims in 1947. There's a small mention of this in the movie Sardar. I consider Sardar more authentic than Gandhi. Richard Attenborough's Gandhi, I consider Sardar, that came in 1993, as more authentic because it was produced by H.M. Patel, was very close to Sardar Patel. So there is one line there that ab Delhi agar haath se nikal gaya to sab kuch gaya or something like that. Patel says that. Yeah. So just wanted to clarify that. Over to you again. Thank you.
So, they started responding by sending, these trains were not with people but with dead bodies. So that is how Pakistan started responding to us. And the feeling and the emotion, all the mindset still prevails. He said, look, when I became the Prime Minister, I invited SAARC countries, I invited Pakistan. I wanted to make a new beginning. I wanted to give peace a chance. And it is true, sir. I think when the Modiji swearing in happened, I think I was in Delhi at that point of time. I had come from Singapore. And it wasn't, I think Nawaz Sharif was stayed in Taj Mansingh Palace. And I have seen Nawaz Sharif like this, 5 feet away from me. I saw him in the lobby. There was a lot of security. Because I was living also in the hotel, I saw him he was just 5 feet away from me. I've seen Nawaz Sharif like this. And, that time there was simmering in the air, things might improve. But again, whenever we have trusted Pakistan, they have betrayed us, they have put a khanjar in our back. And now we are prepared for it, we are living with it. And Pakistan is the global exporter of terrorism. Pakistan only exports terrorism, and the world's biggest terrorist who hit America was ultimately found in Pakistan, that is Osama bin Laden. So wherever there's a terrorist incident or accident, whatever you want to call it in the world, there is a Pakistani link to it. And even Musharraf acknowledged that once, that whenever there's any terrorist activity in the world, you can trace it back to Pakistan. There will be a Pakistani connection to it. Now, Pakistan is a global exporter of terrorism. It's a state-sponsored, state-sponsored terror which is brewed in Pakistan. And so-called non-state actors are doing all the things and then getting away. And who's cultivating and who's grooming and who is giving this khad pani to these non-state actors? This has become a part of foreign policy of Pakistan, where terror has become their foreign policy. And we're like this, they may not be able to sustain. And though we wanted peace and tranquility, but okay, if this is the case, let this be the case. We know what they're up to. We know what their intentions and what their mancha is. So he's kind of very much clear on Pakistan. Second thing I want to bring about is the United States of America. Then I have to bring in the last about Mahatma Gandhi also. I hope I have so much of time. He said, what do you think about President Trump? You recently went to America, you met Elon Musk, you met Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard, you met J.D. Vance. What do you think about President Trump? I think he said, I'll narrate you an incident wherein you will really see what do I think about President Trump, and you will draw your own inferences. He said, I met President Trump when last time in US, and you know two things happened. And we had been briefed a lot about, oh, Trump is like that, Trump is like. There's a lot of media news, there's a lot of media imagery which is bought about the person. He thought, I hope that leaders would know each other more rather than going by the images and the perceptions or the narrations which are created by the media, because personal knowing each other helps. So I was briefed about all things about Trump. He says, I enter the White House, and within 1 minute of my entering, all the diplomatic protocols are broken by Trump. He's holding my hand and he's talking freely, and he has no secretary with him. He has nobody who's briefing him in there. He's not carrying a piece of paper in his hand. He's going on his own. He says, what I was really impressed when Trump started taking me around the White House. No paper, no secretary, no briefing, nothing. Only Trump. He said, this office, this is where the Lincoln used to live. This table, this is where Nixon did this. This, why this bed is 7 feet long? Is because of, So he said he had all the details to the finest here. That means he respected the institution. I could immediately make out this man knows details. He respects the institution and he knows the value of the history and what is the value of the details. He doesn't rely on those 20 pattas, giving briefing and showing those play cards. Remember the infamous interview of Rahul Gandhi with Arnab Goswami, woman empowerment. So if you compare that with the Trump's 3 hour 20 minutes and Modiji's about 3 hour 19 minutes, you'll see the difference. Second thing he said, then there was an event called Howdy Modi. Now, in Howdy Modi, in US to get so much of crowd for a political event is very difficult. For a US Super Bowl and all, you can get much more crowd, but for a political event is very impossible. He said President Trump was there, and it is his badappan, greatness. When I was in the stage, he was sitting, wo niche baithe the aur mujhe sun rahe the. He was not on the stage. He was sitting niche, and he was with the crowd, and he was listening to me. It was America, his president, his land, his stage, his forum, and he gave me the stature ki you give the bhashan from the stage, and I'll stay down and I'll listen to you. It's a badappan hai. And it went well. Next, when there was a good round for the crowd, when my bhashan stopped, I went to President Trump. We shook hands and all. I told him, if you don't mind, can we take a round, hold hands and take a round of the whole stadium? The American Secret Services protocol and all is very much. It did not take him 1 second to think. He said, yes. And we hold in our hands, haath pagda, pure stadium ko humne chakkar kaata. That Modi-Trump bonhomie was there. Immediately I could understand this man takes his own decisions. He didn't talk to his security chief. He didn't look here. He didn't look. The secret services and my security both were in a jeopardy. What happened? This was not a part of the, karyakram, and there were thousands and thousands of people in that stadium. So he said, he immediately said, and again, he was holding my hand. That trust was there. That respect was there. He said, when I went to meet him again this time, I think he's more prepared. He has got his plan really sorted out. And the team he has picked is a fantastic team. Whatever is the vision of the Trump for the world and for America, there is the team. What I saw this time is really there. They know what exactly Trump wants, and there's a similarity between him, because for me it is India first, for him it's America first, for him it is his country first, it is my country first. MAGA, what is Make America Great Again, Make India Great Again. So we are these people who are only for our countries. And then our Lex asks him, Trump told you you're a better negotiator than. What do you want to say to that? He says it's so nice of him. He really talks to me about in such a open heart and mind in the public. You see, it's not a question of being a good or a bad negotiator. For me, my country's interests, my India's interests are always first. And when it comes to Prime Minister Modi, I am not what you see me today. I am the Modi who used to run the shop. I am the Modi who was in Himalayas. I am the Modi who was nobody. Nobody knew him. I'm still that Modi. For you, I might be this. But for me, when I talk to myself, I'm the same Modi, because that is what my maximum part of my life has been. So I have that humility with me, which always carries me along. I'm not. Then the question is, does power get to your head? You have a very powerful human being on earth, and you have a lot of power, and does it kind of get into your head? And he said, look, power and me are oxymorons. I don't believe I have powerful. I call myself the Pradhan Sevak. I call myself as a humble Sevak of Bharat Mata. That is what I am. I'm here to do the job of the people. I'm not here to for any power or post or anything. I never fought even an election. I am here to do the seva. So, and then the question is that, do you get alone? At times, do you feel alone? He said, no, I'm not alone. He said, because Modi has always his companion with him. No, the question, no, suddenly he says, who's the companion? My companion is Ishwar. He's always with me. So even wherever I am, my Ishwar is always with me. He's always guiding me, he's always helping me, he's always protecting me. And I'm doing his job. He has told me, you have to do this job, I'm doing this job. And then came a question about COVID. I have to cover China also, by the way. Then came and Mahatma Gandhi, I think, at 7-8 minutes we'll finish. Now he said, what about COVID? He said, look, in COVID, there was a lockdown. Everything was shut and all. He said, COVID taught us a lot of things. I thought after, like, there was World War I and World War II. After World War II, a lot of world order changed. The world reconciled to the fact there's a new reality. And I thought, my personal belief was after COVID, a lot of things in the world would change. It's a big jatka, it's a big, shake up. But unfortunately, things did not change. I thought the world would realize that we are nothing. I mean, the virus which infected the whole world and killed so many people, by weight was not even 10 grams. And 10 grams of invisible death really brought world kneeling down. I thought the world will change, but the world did not change. People are worried about the confrontations which are brewing in the world. People are worried about the frictions which are brewing in the world, that is the leaders. But people are also not resisting this temptation of avoiding those confrontations and frustrations and those confrontations. It should be an opportunity or an era of Vikaswad. Vikaswad is developmental politics, not Vistarvad. Vistarvad is expansionism. I think that he was hitting China with that statement. So that Vikas, that expansionism, it should not be that, that should not be what kind of you should do. But even after COVID, he mentioned a very thing. So now in COVID, complete lockdown, you are not supposed to go anywhere and all that. He said, what did I start doing? I had a lot of Karyakartas of Bharatiya Janata Party and Sangh who were above 70. So every day I'll call 40, 50 people. I know their numbers. I'll call them and say, Bhai, kya hai? Ghar mein sab theek hai? Are you all okay? So suddenly there's a Karyakarta who's 75, who's 80, who's somewhere in a small town village of India. He gets a call कि मोदी जी आपसे बात करेंगे. And Modi ji calls and says, अरे क्या हाल है? सब ठीक है, परिवार ठीक है, सब कुछ ठीक है. So that around doing 50 calls for all the tenure of COVID. So he would use this COVID as an opportunity to do the work which he could not do in the normal daily schedule. You don't have so much of time to do in the normal daily schedule. So you would do it in the time of COVID. Call these people. Can I say, what about you? Aaspas vyavastha theek hai? How is the things? How is the market? Are you getting medicines? Is the support coming? So in a way, it was touch-based, but also getting a first-hand information from your most reliable lot of people. How are the things shaping up? So that is how you turn climate into an opportunity. That is what you should learn from Mr. Modi. That's in fact one of his USPs. Now from there, let me take you to China. What is your relation with China and how do you see your relation with China? You have said, Mr. Modi, that Xi Jinping is your friend, and how do you see these relations shaping up? Prime Minister Modi says, look, our relations with China are not new. They go for centuries. So there has been a cultural exchanges, there have been economical trade and commerce which goes to China for centuries. It's not a new relation. And if you look at before the unfortunate incident of Galwan, there is no friction, there is no history, there's no documented history or undocumented history of friction between India and China. And there was a time when India and China jointly would control more than 50% of the global GDP. They will control more than 50% of the global GDP. It's only at the recent times where things have gone a bit bad. We again don't believe in confrontation. We believe in negotiation and discussion. I met President Xi. Now things are almost back to what were pre-2020 situation. And we hope that good sense prevails. We hope that they are able to look at the things at a holistic level. And healthy competition is okay. We welcome competition with China, but we don't want confrontation with China. Competition is okay. Let's compete. Let's compete for who is the better, but not confrontation with China. We hope the good sense prevails, and we hope things are, going back. So basically, if I look at the crux of it, what is he suggesting is that Xi Jinping and the Communist Party of China has crossed the line. He has done historically what China has never done. He did a blunder of, kind of thinking that China could dominate and rule India, and India is very weak. There's COVID and all, but Modiji tried to give him a picture of a overall equation and relation, the cultural connect and all, which Xi Jinping, in my opinion, has ignored. And in a way, it's like the same Pakistan. We keep our gunpowder dry. We hope for the best, but I mean, be prepared for the worst. That is what our relation with China is. Now, let me bring in another aspect: is Putin and Zelensky, because you guys would want to know what happened about Putin and Zelensky. We can't miss them. He said, I have a very, very good relation with Putin. Very good relation with Putin. Now, here, there's a very good relation and trust with Trump. There's a very good relation and trust with Putin. That's what I have been always saying, that India, Russia, and America are getting together. And with Xi, it's a kind of a very transitional relationship. He says, look, now with Putin, I am the person who can go to his palace, who can go to his office, who can go to his home, sit with him, and at the same time tell him, look, this is not the era of war, this is the era of peace. War is not going to get us any results. I can be in his office, sit with him and talk about him. And I can talk about the unfortunate incident where the Ukraine children hospital got hit. And basically he's telling there are not a lot of leaders in the world, maybe hardly one or two, who could sit next to Putin and talk like that about Putin, or to Putin, to the Russian media in front of him. He said, I have that kind of leverage, I have that kind of trust and friendship with Putin. And he says, even if you talk of Zelensky, I told Zelensky, look, you might have the whole world with you. You might have the backing of the entire planet Earth. But my friend, wars are only settled and outcomes can be only got on table. War is not going to get you anything. You're not going to win this war. You're not going to sail through this war. I have been very clear with you, Zelensky, because I am concerned about you and the people of Ukraine. So if you're the whole world, you're basically, in a way, he was telling what Trump is telling right now. This war is not winnable by Ukraine. The only thing you could do is get on a table, sit down, iron your differences, and come to a mutually agreeable solution. Diplomacy is on the answer, not the wars, which is the answer. Then that is about the Putin, and that's about Ukraine. And he says, look, we as India have always promoted this brotherhood. We have always promoted peace, tranquility. Our spirituality can be a big answer to the lot of woes the world is facing today. And we could really show the world how to coexist, because we in India and we in Hindus, we are not in confrontation with anybody. Forget our enemies or our rivals. We are even in samanvay, that is, we are in tango or coordination or whatever you want to say, even with earth. We respect water, we respect trees, we respect plants, we respect even the insects. So we believe in that fine balance where all these elements of nature have to respect each other and have to coexist, because a lot of people think that earth is my baap ki jagir, this forest is my baap ki jagir, this water is my baap ki jagir. And we don't think like that. We believe in samanvay, we believe in coordination, respect, and that fine balance of elements and the components of earth will ultimately ensure the continuity of the civilization. And we have survived as Sanatana Dharma more than 1 lakh years because we always believed and enhanced those core values. So there's a very clear mention of this superiority and how we have kind of lived. Now, another aspect which I would want to touch in the end, I hope this session was for 2 hours, but it is not, was about Mahatma Gandhi. What do you think about Mahatma Gandhi, and what is your relation? What are his contributions? About Mahatma Gandhi, Prime Minister Modi says, look, he was a barrister, he practiced, he came back to join Swaraj. And there have been a lot of heroes who came, who did their complete Atma Samarpan. Their entire youth was lost in jails. They came and they went by and they made a mark. They made their own dent in the freedom struggle. But Mahatma Gandhi is different. And he's my inspiration. Why is he different? Why is he your inspiration? That's a logical question. The answer to that question is, look, Mahatma Gandhi could do one thing. People would come like Bhagat Singh ji, make an impact and go. Sukhdev, Rajguru, Chandrasekhara, numerous, uncountable heroes. What did Mahatma Gandhi do? Mahatma Gandhi got and revolutionized the common man. He got masses and masses and masses and masses into it. Before that, the freedom struggle was considered to be of these heroes or these Veeras who would give their sarvasva, who will give their everything and make it, like Lani Lakshmibai, for example. Now, after Gandhiji, he made this a mass movement. I mean, if you're cleaning the road, it's for Swaraj. If you're spinning the charkha, it's for Swaraj. Whatever you are doing, it's for Swaraj. And then you launch those civil disobedience movement. The Angrez or the Goras could never think what this man can bring to the table. Like taking a pinch of salt, Satyagrah, Dandi March. What could Dandi March? How could Dandi March become such a big revolution? Goras could never understand this man. Then what would this man do? I mean, once he went to meet the king of England, and he was wearing his dhoti and his, the usual, the cotton cloth which he used to wear around him. And the Britishers told him, how can you meet the king like this? He said, why? He said, you're not properly dressed. He said, your king, he has clothes which can fit both of us. So he's double dressed than me. It's okay. We balance out each other. So he also had this sense of humor with him. And he was a mascot of cleanliness, and he used to protect Swachh Bharat. And these were his ideas. Now, getting common Bharati and getting his inspirations, getting his aspirations involved in independence, and getting his aspirations involved in Swaraj, that is what's the magic of Gandhiji. And he said, oh, Gandhiji was a 20th century leader, you are a 21st century leader. He said, no. Gandhiji will continue to be a 21st, 23rd, 25th, 26th century leader. Modi may or may not be there, but Gandhi will be there. And what I learned from Gandhi is whatever I try to do now, I try to get masses involved into that. I try to make it a people's movement. Because if you in politics want these big changes to come, they have to be people's movements. You have to get those masses, those people, those masses and masses involved, and make it the movement wherein everybody feels to be that hero, where everybody feels to be that contributor, wherein everybody feels to be that decision maker, and where everybody feels that I am the person who is going to change the orientation and connotation of the things around it. So unless and it becomes, otherwise it says, mere ko kya karna? It's not my cup of, okay, it's between Shri or Sumit P, let them settle out. No. When it becomes that everybody is part of us, everybody is that. That's why I always say, when you want to be a part of it, tan, man or dhan, you have to contribute from all the three. So only tan will not do, only man will not do, only dhan will not do, all the three have contributed. So when you make people's movement, it says whatever I do today, I try to make it a people's movement. I try to get the participation of people. So I try to get the participation of masses in it. And I have to tell you about this mini Brazil. So I'm running completely out of time, but I have to talk. Sir, 2 minutes. Mini Brazil. He said, when the soccer thing was happening, he said, I used to work with, there's a district in Madhya Pradesh, Sandhol or something. I can't remember the name properly. Now, I was working with these tribal women, which were doing this women self-help centers and all. Suddenly, in one of those, kind of my visits there, I saw there were a lot of people wearing same jerseys and shorts. All various ages and all. So suddenly I got attracted. I said, who are these people? मैंने भाई तुम कौन कहाँ से? So they said, sir, we are from mini Brazil. Huh? Mini Brazil? Where is this mini Brazil? कहता sir, हमारा गांव, our village is called a mini Brazil. Why? कहता we're a small village in Madhya Pradesh. This, I can't remember the district's name, in district of Madhya Pradesh. We're going to say, for last 4 generations, we have been playing football. 4 generations we have been playing football. And our village, one village, has given 80 national players of soccer to the India. Say 80 national players from one village. Yes. And when we have our village match and village games, there are people from 25 there are 25 to 30,000 people which come from all over, Sadol district. There are people from 25 to 30,000 crowd comes to watch our matches. So we are the mini Brazil of India. He says, suddenly I realized that there are these pockets of immense talent which are everywhere. It's only that we are not able to get them. We are not able to tap them. We are not able to, do a lot of things about them. But if we start tapping that talent, wherein India was believed to be not to be such a great country with soccer and not to be such a great country with a lot of things will change. And I think that is the vision. If you look at latest Commonwealth Games and if you look at Olympics and all, compare them 15, 20 years back and compare the medal tally today. It has substantial. We're not the top most, but we're substantially improved. So this Khel Mantralaya's initiative, Khelo India, now you understand where do these things come out from. Because if you are a Zamini level ka banda, if you're still connected to the soil, you still meet the people, you still get a first-hand information from these people. Then suddenly you realize, why did Modi start this Khelo India? But who gave him the idea? These are where the ideas like a Khelo India come up. Now, if you talk of banking system, you talk of refinement, it's going on and on and on. And that's what I told you. To put everything what was spoken in 3 hours 20 minutes into 40 minutes is like concising it by 85, compressing it by 85%, and still making sure that you don't miss the top points of it. These, in my opinion, were the top. Oh no, I've exceeded time a lot. Were the top talking points what appeal to me, and I'll rest my case here. Otherwise, it will go for next 1 hour. I won't be able to stop it. She said, "You're on mute, sir."
Thank you so much, Sumit ji. And let's take a few questions. We have a lot of questions to go through. We may overrun by a little bit. I hope it's all right.
No worries.
Yeah. Muthukumar Sundaram wants to know, P-Gurus, in your opinion, does the government now follow up its initiatives and programs, or culture of Babudom still prevails, where they care about schemes only which are remembered by mantris?
I think things have changed a lot, and things are going to change a lot. But there is still a lot of work to do. We were at -5. Even if we are at 2, we have climbed 7 steps. If we have to go to 10, there are 9 more steps to climb. I agree that. But things have changed. Change in the culture is something which takes time, sir. A country which had given up on everything and anything is now finding its place of honor in the bigger scheme of things is already achievement, in my opinion.
Next one, please. Muthukumar Sundaramji, thank you so much for your super sticker. Chaitanya Takle wants to know, how is Modi government's negotiations regarding Bangladesh going on with the USA? No negotiations as far as I know.
It's a green light to Prime Minister Modi, whatever he wants to do. Why did I narrate this incident? This talks about the bonhomie and the chemistry and the trust between Trump and Modi, which is very, very important right now. Because Trump doesn't trust a lot of people. And even when Elon came to meet him, Tulsi came to meet him, and Vivek came to meet him, J.D. Vance came, they all came with families. It's also important. Usually, you will come to meet one-to-one, protocol, meeting hai. But when you get your families along, that talks of a different connotation. And Modiji doesn't have a family, So it's not the families are meeting families. So you have a Prime Minister of India who doesn't have a family. And then the people who come to meet him with the families, that means they have great love and respect for this man. That talks of volumes.
Next one, please. Subo443 wants to know, why is West Bengal BJP not absorbing its RSS pool into BJP well enough? A lot of West Bengal people are really disgusted to see usual TMC faces coming to BJP and some elitist BJP netas doing nothing but lip service.
I think your points are well taken. It's observation which might be relevant in some part or entirely, and the entire West Bengal, we don't know. But with these observations, I think when you put them on the P-Gurus, I think somebody will listen to them. And in due course of time, we can only expect that the things will change for better. But in Rajniti, there are things which are very situational and seasonal. They might not be the practice. TMC love is situational and seasonal, not permanent.
Next one, please. Raja Raman wants to know, is it true Bhutan wanted to join India? Is it a strategy of India to annex part of Burma, Bhutan, Nepal, and part of POK?
I think whatever helps in the national interest and who wants to come to our fold, we don't want people with jihadi mentality. Minus that, and then if something like this happens, welcome. It's not a plan or something. These people realize that they don't have a future without the sanrakshan or the patronage of India, and if with good intentions and intent they want to be a part of Mother India, why not?
Next one, Nirav, thank you so much. Goa pillar, 80,000 Hindus cut cost not accepting. Goa killer, right? Goa pillar, okay. 80,000 Hindus not cause of accepting. Both are same, plus also had bad history, eliminate other cultures. Now they're doing politically. Congress is controlled by church. They use Muslims as proxy to eliminate Hindu culture.
Look, there is a bit of a issue in Goa. We can't deny that. And this Goa once used to be the Tapobhumi of Bhagwan Parashuram. And many of our elite saints. But after the Portuguese invention and Nehru deciding not to intervene, until Portuguese really screwed it up, and they had no other option to go and do it. So there are still some challenges, or some things have changed. Now Goa has become a place of tourism, but there was a lot of cultural and there was a lot of religious connotation of Goa vis-a-vis Sanatan Dharma, which has been depleted. But I think in due course of time, things can change. Congress brand of politics always happens, where it is predominantly against Hindus, and unfortunately there are still some Hindus which vote for Congress. Don't blame it on the Congress, but also blame it on some of the Hindus who still vote for Congress. How do you say it, Neerabhai? Is that true?
Thank you, Subha. 443. US-India cooperation is commercial shipbuilding. Detailed podcast exposing current European exploitation, age French in Rwanda in Africa.
I think this is more of a suggestion. We can look into it, sir. And I think what I could gather from today's podcast is that the cooperation between India and US is going to increase. And I think European Union and Middle East both have to do a lot of catch up, because things are changing fast. And what my hypothesis was that India, Russia and America are getting closer. This has been kind of validated after this podcast.
He wants to know, does the church see Indian converts split 50-50? Some follow the books, other reshape faith, weakening from within. Case in point, Godavari Delta heard Suprapadam with Jesus.
I'm not aware of this last part of it, or the Godavari Delta, but first part I can definitely answer. Look, conversions in India have happened, but they are not at a very, very big alarming rate across the country. But in some places they are. They need to be controlled. They need to be checked. And we should come up with a way. I've been strongly advocating it. We should come up with a way and a process, designated official process of Garvapsi. Today, even somebody wants to do a Garvapsi, where is the process? Where is the procedure? We should have a very designated process and procedure. If I want to rectify my mistake, okay, go and register on this portal, put your number, whatever. It should be a very simplified process and a government recognized and a designated process, right? So there are a lot of people I know, there are at least few crore people I know who are looking for Garvapsi. So when are we going to start that? That is what should be our talking point.
Thank you, Subbo. 443. Current TN language politics, deep state game? A deep state game?
I think when it comes to TN politics, it's not a deep state here, sir. It is that DMK's politics has been always based on fishing in troubled waters and trying to catch this shining fish. Now, this rupee issue and all, this is the typical DMK brand politics, when they feel like when the biggest ports are coming in Tamil Nadu, when 2 ministers of Cabinet Committee on Security are from Tamil Nadu, when Tamil Sangamam is being held in Varanasi, when Tamil language supremacy is recognized, and Modiji says it's the oldest language, and he quotes Tamil points, when that national merger is happening, when we understand the relevance of Shiva in Tamil Nadu, when we understand the relevance of Lord Murugan in Tamil Nadu, across the length and breadth of India, this doesn't suit DMK's brand of politics, which is based on soft separatism. So that is why they look for all these issues. They want to find Hindi, idhar udhar, kuch karke, all these small issues, and want to wake up these Tamil sentiments. I want to ask Mr. Stalin one thing. I questioned him on the TV also. Sengol is a part of Tamil culture, right? When Sengol was being installed or was being given the honor in the parliament, why did DMK miss it? It's Tamil culture, right? Why did DMK give it a miss? And tell me something, is only Mr. M.K. Stalin, with due respect to him, is only the custodian of Tamil heritage, pride, and whatever? What about Mr. S. Jaishankar? Is he not a Tamilian? Is he not a proud Tamilian? What about Nirmala Sitharaman? Is Nirmala Didi not a proud Tamilian? Why does DMK think that only the custodians of Tamil interest and Tamil honor and everything? Who doesn't know Dr. Jaishankar today? Who doesn't know Nirmala Sitharamanji today? So why you're only trying to divide for your political islands to survive? There's a tsunami of Sanatan Dharma which is coming. So to protect your islands, you are trying to use these landfills to be afloat. That is what you are trying to do.
Next one, please. Krishnamurti Hunagund wants to know, when Uma Bharati wanted to rebel against Modiji, this happened. Her words. I don't know. There seems to be something missing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Krishnamurti ji. MKG is PR done right. Facade is cracking over time.
MKG. What?
Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi.
Look, you see, when you talk of a person, my take is I agree with Modiji. There are people coming like Bhagat Singh ji giving their entire life. Chandrasekhar, so many of them, so many. But Gandhi ji could do one thing. He could revolutionize or he could mobilize masses. And these masses ultimately, you can't forget the contributions of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and all. They are phenomenal. They are beyond my words. But having a common man getting involved or getting associated with the initiative, that is where the things become which British could not even imagine. So Modiji was very clear. That is the credit I give Gandhiji on that, and that part of it is there. That is the credit he was given. You might agree or disagree with a lot of things with his practices and with his policies and all, but getting masses into the game, or getting the masses into this freedom struggle, which really moved the British throne, I think there he's right with that part of it.
Thank you, Rajesh Upadhyay, for your generous super sticker. Mangat Ranga wants to know, there are many states where the work culture still needs big change. How much of a drain is it on Bharat, and how can Modiji change this?
Ranga said the culture is the only thing which takes a lot of time to change. You can change a lot of things, but culture takes a lot of time to change. I'll tell you, in the typical slang in North India, before Modiji was sab neta chor hai. You go to any shadi bihar, they will go sab neta chor hai. This was a very, very common sentence used. Today, I have not heard this sentence in the last 10 years anywhere. This sentence has gone. Earlier, the people of India had given up sab neta chor hai. That was a common sentence. But this sentence, and today you can highlight, okay, yeah, X, Y, Z, X, this is good, this is bad. At least we are having those islands of hope, and there's a lot of things which need to be changed, because 65 years of cutting the system within this rut, this nepotism which had creeped into our culture and which was cultivated as a part of the Congress strategy. It's not easy to get rid of that, because a lot of people have benefited and made billions out of it.
Next one, please.
Okay, Shrikant Sridhar.
Yeah. Hafiz Saeed declared dead is more beneficial to India than declared alive.
I think, look, Hafiz Saeed is not dead in my opinion, and even if he's dead, Pakistan is not going to declare him dead for as long as they can. Even if
Correct,
Dawood
correct. They are good at this.
they will not declare him dead. They are their assets, best assets of ISI. So there are two things to it. First, you could not protect your best assets. Secondly, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of hafta, there's a lot of physical and tactical gains which are associated with them. They have become brands. It's like you're telling me Louis Vuitton get rid of LV. Then what is the purse left with? So these have become brands of jihad. They have become brands of fundraising, for do virtue of which billions of dollars change hands. A lot of people make money. So these brands of money minting and jihad won't be pushed down the drain. They will try to keep their ghost alive. I mean, if the ghost is gone, they will find a Dracula to keep it alive. Then they will find the ashes of the Dracula to keep them alive. So they won't let, unless and until it becomes very explicit. He's dead. We have seen him blown to pieces. Like Americans announced, we put a bullet in Osama's head and fed him to fishes. Either you have to do something like that, or like Qasem Soleimani. By that time, Pakistan will never ever admit he's died, because that will be a big humiliation for them.
Vijay Kumar Srivastava wants to know, do you think, sir, podcast of Modiji on air, anyone from opposition understood it?
Arey nahi, sir. Why should they understand it? They have to anyway get from Rahul Gandhi the final summary. So even if you have brains, you won't be able to use it. Na? And so Rahul Gandhi will give the final. You know what is woman empowerment? Ek line, khatam.
Vijay Kumar ji again? No. Himanshit wants to know, Humanist wants to know, I'm expecting Sumit ji to talk about the recent mayhem in Pakistan, where BLA eliminated 90 Pakistani soldiers. Did he say in the intro if he's going to talk about it? No, we already talked about it.
We talked about it, and anyway, let me touch quickly on this. Look, 90 soldiers have been slaughtered by BLA, and I was telling you, if you remember, I said that in the month of Ramzan, BLA is going to give two gifts to the Pakistani establishment. One was there was 214 or 250 in the train, And even when I was covering the train, I said in the month of Ramadan, we will get second gift. Second gift was 2 days back when they slaughtered 90 of their soldiers. And there will be a one gift on Eid. Eid is not going to be, Eid is going to be IED, not EID. It is going to be IED, not EID. So you will see in Eid, there will be a lot of small gifts coming to them. And by the way, now TTP is also going to give a gift in the holy month of Ramzan to the Pakistan army. So my prediction about the second gift coming from BLA has come true. And now I'm predicting you for the Eid. And one more gift will at least come from TTP. And that is almost 80%, 90% sure. But Eid, not EID, IED. Improvised explosive device.
Rajiv Shashidharan says, Sriji and Sumitji, out of syllabus question, look at Mr. Annamalai's speech today. Great leaders are not born, situations make them great. We will definitely look at that. Next question, please. Suresh Kumar wants to know, Sumitji, namaskar. Sir, Trump unilaterally declared that India will buy F-35s in Modiji's presence while Modiji remained uncommitted. Is a purchase happening?
I think purchase will happen because F-35 today, by any standards, is the best war machine. The recent wars have proved its mettle beyond recognition. There's not a better machine than that, which is available in the world today. So Trump is giving you a flighted ball. Now it is for the Modi ji to hit a 6 over long off, long on, short leg, or whatever. I'm not very good with cricket. It's up to him. So let the right time come, India needs F-35s. There's no doubt about it. And the things what we're talking about, and even with the F-16 Vipers, India should really buy them because they are again very beautiful machines. So we need a lot of aircrafts. Look, whatever we talk about China, whatever we believe about China, with Xi Jinping, China is highly volatile, and Pakistan will not change. A volatile China and Pakistan is not going to change. Look at who are we surrounded with.
Next one, please.
It was an offer.
Venkatesan wants. Sorry, go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, sir, you wanted to carry on, sir. I'm just.
Venkatesan wants to know, good evening, sirs. Wonderful listening to you both. You both have actually created interest in geopolitics. Yesterday, I was talking about the US dollar 7,500 per car recycling fee imposed by China on Russia. Wow, I didn't know that.
Recycling fee imposed by Russia on, you see, Russians and Chinese have started parting ways. I told you, see, this is going to happen because, look, I can't sell this thing to you at $8,000, and I'm incurring a loss of $30,000, $24,000 in the back, and this is no business. I am doing this to kill your industry. It's very sure. Look, if I'm selling for $8,000 and I'm getting a loss of $200-300, you'll say, "Bhai, business kar raha." I am giving you for $8,000 and my back end loss is $34,000 per piece. What the hell is this? This is economic terrorism. This is economic sabotage. And I think if Russia has done it, and it's a fantastic thing, it's a fantastic piece of news.
Next one,
it's done. Correct. It's done.
So this is the news item on that. Let me just copy paste it for you.
Kudos to Russians. Sir, Xi and Trump's bonhomie is gone. Gaya. Good. Xi and Putin's bonhomie is gone. Good. Mm-hmm.
More than doubling the previous rate set for September 2024. This measure aims to curb the inflow of low-cost Chinese vehicles into Russian market. The fees are scheduled to rise by 10 to 20% annually till 2030. Wow.
Sir, I told you that, when in our Endgame series China, we had covered that there are 60% cars in Russia which are Chinese made today. And Russians are really pissed off. We had done a complete program on it. And Russians are really pissed off with that. They are fuming at Putin. Why are you not doing it? But Putin was waiting for the right time. Good. Putin is smart. I like him.
Giri wants to know, Turkey and South Korea making fast progress in engine development. Our Ministry of Defense doesn't seem to show any sense of urgency, just making reports and file pushing.
I think I'm not sure about Turkey and South Korea, but South Korea has some made development. I don't know how far Turkey is involved. I think Turkey wants to get its nose everyone. Erdogan would just want to create these stories for PR. Who the hell wants to collaborate with Turkey? What has Turkey got? What has Turkey delivered? With 100% inflation, what the hell do you want to there? Go there, do there with them. And with the Islamists called Erdogan. But yes, South Koreans have developed something. And even if you talk of LCAs, and if you talk of fourth, fifth generation fighters, South Koreans have demonstrated some serious capability. And they're even working with, I think, with the Japanese and Italians. They're also trying to make a alternate wherein they are making their own fighters and they're presenting it an alternate. Because the model is even in EADS, there are 3 countries that are involved. They are again trying to make a similar kind of a structure. But there is some serious development vis-a-vis South Koreans in engine manufacturing and in aircraft manufacturing. That has to be agreed. But I don't know about the Turkey part, sir.
SH wants to know, Sumit sir, agree that we don't want confrontation, but will China stop territorial expansion against India?
It will not. That is why Modiji said it is the Rajniti of Vikaswad, not Vistarwad. When he says, I told you that in Hindi also. Vistarwad means expansionism. So when he talks of Vistarwad, there is a direct connotation or a link to China. Who else is going to do Vistarwad around you? It's only China. So, and don't forget Mike Pompeo when he said, when it comes to Communist Party of China, it doesn't matter where you are geographically. You are on their hit list. They'll even want to have Chinatown there.
Thank you so much, Sumit. What a wonderful session. 1 hour, 16 minutes. Time just flew. Viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Do forward this because 1 hour is less than 3 hours, 1/3 of your time, and you get the gist of that. Very good coverage. Thank you so much, Sumit. Namaskar. Let's take the Ashirwad of Mahadev.
And I have to request all my friends and brothers and sisters today, as it's in English, and English is more universally accepted language. So you can even forward it to your Farang friends and your, Caucasian friends or your Asian friends, wherever they are. Let them have a flavor of what we spoke and let them know the beauty and greatness of our culturalization, our culture, and how do we see the geopolitics of the world vis-a-vis and from an Indian perspective. It will be a great service to nation if you can do that. And I'm very sure you are going to do that. On that note, Bharat Mata ki jai, Vande Mataram, and Hara 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 Mahadev.
Mahadev.